So let's put this in a real life scenario. Business needs to buy the shiny penny new software that's out there. They saw it at a recent conference. The governor's office really liked it. Time immediately to start putting pen to paper. Let's put that RFP together. Let's assume that they're on board with doing an RFP and go. RFP got submitted to procurement and business calls a week later. We don't have the shiny penny yet. What's the holdup? Procurement says, well, we're working with IT to make sure that there is an appropriate review. The CISO has to review, but the business is, wait a minute. We've already done that. We know what we need. They said they're StateRAMP compliant, they're FedRAMP compliant, they meet NIST standards. Why can't we just go forward and buy? Because that's truly not how it works. If we were to go forward on that path, potentially 2 years down the road, we're going to have a cybersecurity issue that is going to cost the organization millions and millions of dollars, not to mention our constituents and other folks that will come back and challenge the process. We have statutes, laws, rules, etc., that we have to follow. And Dugan, I'm going to pick on you for the next one. You started talking about governance. The time that the RFP hits the street, that's too late to be having the conversations around governance. That's too late to be figuring out what and how you want to buy X. How can procurement effectively and timely collaborate with IT and the appropriate internal security teams so that we can ultimately align procurement decisions with the organization's cybersecurity goals?
Yeah, Ted mentioned this, and he's mentioned it several times about the connective tissue, and you've mentioned that as well. You think government is a set of functional silos, and a using agency who actually has a request, they put their request together and send it over. And if we start dealing with it like silo by silo by silo, it never gets quite right. So the best thing to happen in this scenario, and it's going to ultimately get to what you're saying, is you should have a team put that together that has representatives of your attorney, somebody who can speak for and represent the CISO, somebody who can speak for and represent the IT office. You have to have the business owner who understands the business challenge on that, in any of the key stakeholders that have a policy play and can define what that work is. And if you do the job right before that procurement comes out, then what happens is that instead of displaying something that's got a lot of obvious seams in it where somebody can't address it because we've got to go back to whatever functional area hadn't passed off on it or didn't get it right, we've got something that speaks for itself. You talked about StateRAMP, like that's a good solution. To do a StateRAMP procurement right, you actually have to go through that to have all of these elements put together. So when the supplier gets it, it should be a pretty seamless product. The business challenge to be solved is in there. What they need to do to respond to that is in there. Who they need to contact is in there. And by going through those steps where you've got the team looking at it, cutting across those silos, you're going to get a better product to go out with, and you're going to get a better contract. And so I think that's the answer to that question. When you build in the rigor of StateRAMP, with the controls of StateRAMP, and you've got a supplier and you've got a good business challenge defined, you're going to have a pretty good outcome because some of that work is already done.